How's it going, everyone? It's TrulyMystic, and in today's video I'd like to talk about a certain topic that I've been thinking about ever since Chapter 2 Remix came out. Now you might be wondering, what is this topic? Well, if you've seen the title or thumbnail of the video, you probably know. But if not, for any weird reason, we're going to be talking about the possibility of Fortnite Chapter 3 returning pretty soon. Now, what do I mean by this? Like, how soon are we talking? I believe that next season, Fortnite Chapter 3 will release. Now, a lot of you might say, that's not too far-fetched, considering that last year we got Fortnite OG Chapter 1, this year we got Fortnite Remix Chapter 2, and so you're probably thinking that for another 1 month season, probably sometime next year in November, we'd be getting a form of Chapter 3. However, I'd like to discuss the possibility of Chapter 3 actually being the next season going into Chapter 6. It sounds kind of confusing, it sounds weird, it also might not make a lot of sense. But there's a lot of hints, secrets, and theories to suggest that we might be heading back to that original Chapter 3 map for Fortnite Chapter 6. This is gonna get pretty interesting, so without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So I'm saying that Fortnite Chapter 6 has the possibility to be on the Fortnite Chapter 3 map, but why so? Well, not too long ago, the Chapter 3 map was added back into the files. There could be a number of reasons why Epic could be doing this, but a lot of times when these circumstances do happen, this usually means that the map will come back in some way, shape, or form. For the Chapter 1 map, it was Fortnite OG, and for Chapter 2, it was Fortnite Remix. So it's not a stretch to say that the Chapter 3 map could be the map that we're playing on for Chapter 6. Now again, you could also say that the Chapter 3 map might just come back for 1 month as some sort of OG or remix season. And I'd say you're definitely right. However, there is a couple things to note. Number one, why would they be adding the Chapter 3 map to the files so early on? I mean, think about it. We're not even in Chapter 6 yet, and at the time of me recording this, we're still only like halfway into Chapter 2 Remix. Also, when we got this news, it was about a month or two ago. So what's the reason for adding the Chapter 3 map so early on into the files? You see, that's what I'm trying to figure out myself as well. It would make a lot more sense for Epic to do Chapter 6 with a brand new map. It's just what they've been doing every single year now, and it's also just what works. A lot of people love to go into a new chapter expecting a brand new fresh map. But could Fortnite be trying to do something a little bit different this time and give us the original Chapter 3 map? And now I keep saying original. I'm of course referring to that original Chapter 3 map that we left back in Chapter 3 Season 4. But Mystic, that can't happen. The Chapter 3 map was destroyed by the Herald. There's no way, right? I mean, even the Chapter 2 map was destroyed. That whole island was destroyed in the finale event. There's no possible way that this could happen, right? Fortnite is no stranger to time travel. We've well introduced the concept about a year ago, ever since Chapter 4 Season 4 began. Kato Thorne using the time machine to bring his various artifacts and eventually bringing us to the OG map. Jonesy having to fix that time machine and bring us back to an alternate reality. I mean, this is really nothing new, even for Fortnite as a whole. There's a and I mean very well possibility that we could still head back to the Chapter 3 map right before it got annihilated. And I'm of course referring to Chapter 3 Season 4 Paradise. The map was well covered with chrome. The Herald was trying to take over the reality and annihilate it all. To many, this season wasn't very popular. I know I didn't love it as much because I thought the chrome was kind of annoying and was really spreading way too much. Regardless of my or many others' feelings, it seems to be that this is potentially where we could be starting from moving into Chapter 6, or at least some sort of version of it. Now, why do I say this? Well, there's subtle hints actually happening right now in the Chapter 2 Remix season. Now first, I'd like to point out the two less obvious ones, that being the mic and guitar for the music pass this season. If you take a closer look, you'd notice that this microphone has a almost chrome pearlescent sort of feel to it, as well as the guitar that you unlock at the end has the same exact texture. They seem to be relating to each other, and could this be potentially teasers from Epic hinting to us that we could be seeing Chapter 3 Season 4 pretty soon? Now you could just say that's just an aesthetic choice. A weirdly aesthetic choice looking very, very similar to a chrome blobby material, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. However, it just doesn't end here. Notably, in the Chapter 2 Remix Battle Pass, there is a specific skin that has an edit style that references the same chrome used in Chapter 3 Season 4. I am of course referring to Chaos Director. Now, the original edit style has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's the typical black oozy stuff that comes out of Chaos Agent. We've seen it before. But the second edit style, the white and silvery one, plays into the idea of her being able to manipulate chrome in some sort of way. What's really also interesting is that the loading screen in the battle pass for her has images possibly teasing future skins or any sort of upcoming content coming into the game. I think it's a little sneaky from Epic's part, playing into the idea of chrome so much this season specifically. Why this season specifically? Well, if you know, underneath the Chapter 2 map is of course the Chapter 3 map. Now, we don't know exactly how we're going to get to Chapter 6. There's weirdly not a lot of information about it at the moment. Although, of course, this video will be outdated and eventually we'll be getting a lot more news regarding it. But at the time being, not much is known about it, especially how we're getting to it. We know that at the end of Chapter 2 Season 8, one of the most iconic Fortnite events happened. The entire map flipped, so that we would be getting the brand new Chapter 3 map at the time. Is it not too far-fetched to say that the end of this season's live event will conclude with the island flipping once more? Of course, anything could happen. We could use a time machine and we could end up destroying this reality once again and moving on to a brand new map. Like I said, I am totally not against the idea of moving on to a brand new map for Fortnite, but you can't deny that a lot of these hints that Epic is throwing us is weirdly relating to Chapter 3. So, since we know that Chapter 2 Remix is a remix of the Chapter 2 map, could that potentially mean that underneath the Chapter 2 map, the Chapter 3 map is also a remix of some sort? We could be potentially diving into an idea where the chrome might not actually take over the entire island and destroy its reality. I'd also like to quickly bring up that the Cuddle Team leader Rave Cavehead was put onto the map last season just out of nowhere. Just further subtle hints guiding us to Chapter 3. Now, what could this possibly mean? We don't really know. This kind of just happened out of nowhere. But weirdly enough, the eyes were missing, and that's all we kind of know about this so far. Now, moving on, I'd like to talk about everything we know about Chapter 6 so far. Maybe this can give us a perspective on whether or not we'll really go back to that Chapter 3 map for the next season. Japan mythology. It has been leaked that the Chapter 6 Season 1 theme at least will be a heavily Japan mythology themed season. We also have a bunch of survey skins in the leaks that point to this direction. Many leakers have been posting this, so I think without a shadow of a doubt that some sort of Japanese theme will play into the beginning of Chapter 6. Now, what does that have to do with Chapter 3? Honestly, not much. If anything, that plays a little more into Chapter 4 Season 2, but there still could be a well possibility that the Chapter 3 map could have a new society run by it, maybe in the form of Japanese mythology. We also know that there's going to be an industrial POI. I mean, that's also not too far of a stretch. Maybe some sort of industrial zone could have been built on the Chapter 3 map. But I think where it really gets interesting is around these 2 points. For mechanics next chapter, we're getting the proning and swinging feature. Now, proning is basically just being able to lie down on the floor and hide your body better. It's probably going to be like staying still and then holding the crouch button until you reach the floor. But swinging being mentioned is very interesting. Chapter 3 Season 1, what was the collab that sort of took over the game for the time? Spider-Man. What was used around the map for mobility during that season? Spider-Man's web gloves. Now, could this feature just be a way to, swing around POIs faster? I speculated in a previous video that maybe the swinging feature could be just basic swinging off of maybe signs or houses to just get a little bit more movement, especially for zero builds. But playing into this theory that Chapter 3 could be coming out next month and using the swinging feature, would it be crazy to say if we got maybe some sort of nod at least to the web shooters to swing around the map. It could be in the form of Spider-Man, or maybe some sort of other spider hero or villain, or maybe it could just be a simple throwback and we could get a similar swinging item like we did in the beginning of Chapter 3. But if all that is still not enough to entice you that we might be going to the Chapter 3 map at some point next chapter, one of the final pieces of news that I can use to further persuade you is this leaked void mechanic. Void, what does that mean? We've never had anything like a void feature really introduced into Fortnite. Coming to think of something for this myself was a little challenging at first, but then it hit me. The Chapter 2/Chapter 3 island is encased in a bubble. This is the reality for both of these chapters. Everything around it is just emptiness space. What separates these two islands apart as well are these cataclysms and caves clearly protruding and separating the two islands. And so I believe that this void feature could actually be either a way to escape the reality and go into space, hence the name void, or that voided space in between the Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 map. The only information we have about this space too is in the Batman 0 Point comics, where Batman and his team went through this to figure out more about the island and the IO guards. And yeah, this is actually where the IO guards kind of come from. We also know that Jonesy is sort of around here. He used this to plop himself into the Chapter 2 island. So whatever is happening in between here must be very secretive. And so could this new void mechanic or feature finally be a way to explore whatever is in this area? A possible theory I've had is whenever you die in the Chapter 6 map, this could be like the new Gulag. You can fight to your death in this area, and if you win, you'll get brought back onto the island. But that's kind of where the hints and theories sort of end. I believe that this is a substantial amount of evidence that could be guiding us towards a potential Chapter 3 comeback in Chapter 6. It could be from the season where we left off, it could be a variation of it, or it could be something entirely new, but still the Chapter 3 map. I don't know about you guys, but all of this is pointing into a really strange direction. We know that at the end of this season, we will be getting some sort of live event concert, and knowing Fortnite nowadays, they don't really explain moving on to another map all that well, so we could just get a concert and then plop onto the Chapter 6 map. It's strange, and I wish they did a little bit more, but you know how it is. And other than that, we really don't know fully what's to come. But with all these secrets and subtle hints, Fortnite could potentially bring back the Chapter 3 map very soon. Or it could just be a remixed 1-month season. That is honestly the most likely answer. To quickly give my opinions about this before this video ends, I'd like to say that I wouldn't actually be all that crazy for the Chapter 3 map returning for Chapter 6. Like, do you know how weird that would be to just go straight back to where we were from the Chapter 3 Season 4 event for Chapter 6? The whole map is covered in chrome. We're with familiar locations and all that jazz. I just don't think that the community would really be too happy about that. So I'm somewhat hoping that the Chapter 6 map is a brand new and really refreshing good map. However, if Chapter 3 is going to be the new map that we go into next season, and they handle it in a way that is exciting and refreshing, especially for the story, I'd be fully on board with that. It is also strange. Lately, Fortnite's really been banking on nostalgia. Last year, we had the Chapter 1 map come back. It also weirdly played into the story. Not too long ago, we got reload mode introduced, which sort of brought back OG feelings. Then we got Chapter 2 Remix, the other side of the Chapter 3 map. And we know that next season, we're also getting an OG permanent mode that will cycle through the Chapter 1 map with different seasons. I'm just saying that Fortnite giving us the Chapter 3 map as our new map at some point during Chapter 6 isn't too far-fetched. We just have to see if it'll happen, and if it does happen, how they'll handle it. But that's going to be it for today's video. I've laid down all the groundwork and possible explanations for returning to the Chapter 3 map. Let me know in the comment section down below. You guys agree with me? Could we actually be going to the Chapter 3 map, or is this theory delusional? I would love to read through them. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Use code TrulyMystic in the item shop if you want to support me there. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will catch you guys in the next vid. It's TrulyMystic, and until then, peace.